How long did you remain in the ghetto?
And the ghetto we remained from around March 1940 to end of July, beginning of August 1944. Was like hell. Ghetto was like hell. Between the hunger, the work, the filth, and every couple months was other kind of spread of disease like typhus or some other things, and seeing all the dead bodies around and seeing all of them people look like they died, but they just forgot to bury them.
What
was
happened
a very
to the
depressing
happened
side
to the
also.
people who became sick? Was there a place for them to go?
No.
Were there doctors that could help them in any way?
In the beginning, they had something, but later on, there was no such thing. You just die.
Did anybody in your family get sick?
No. No, we wasn't, oh yeah, I'm sorry, completely fine. My father got sick on that. My father all of a sudden, right before they liquidated the ghetto, maybe a month before that, my father just became sick and started coughing blood. And he wasn't well doing good. He was sick.
Did you have any idea what that was?
We know it was from hunger. But first of all, he smoked a lot, you know. And then we know from hunger, you know, we knew that he was awful. I never forget how he was just spitting blood all over. It was an awful sight.
He couldn't get any kind of medicine or
No,
anything?
No.
What were the hygienic facilities, toilets?
Wasn't any.
Where did you go to the bathroom?
Outside. We didn't have hot water.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, we slept 2 in the bed. One room, 4 of us lived for 4.5 years. And we hardly changed clothes, you know. So that facilities were awful.
Was there any kind of privacy outside when you went to the bathroom, or you just went on the ground?
Wasn't any privacy.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody cared, nobody watches, you know. Modesty was the least of our problem, you know, being, you know. If you think about a survival, you don't care if anybody watching you, if you go. You know, all my time being there, I was only dreaming about one thing, having a big loaf of bread. I never dreamt of like people having big dreams about diamonds and stuff like that. I only dreamt to have one time the feeling that my belly is full, you know. Not have the rumbling in my stomach, you know.
Did you become very thin?
Yeah. But I never had the look. There used to be a name, the person looked like very thin, dying, Muslim, they used to call him. Oh, you look the person, and you watch them, so that kind of look that they have, the dying look, you know, become Muslim. And then in the ghetto, you saw a lot of people from hunger having swollen feet like that. Or you could go touch it, push it in like, and then all of a sudden fill it in again, you know, from hunger. You would think that you would be skinny. You got that actually blown up from hunger. It was amazing how you could see people like that.
Your whole body became blown up, or
No,
just
feet.
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 Stomach?
Stomach too, but mostly you could tell feet.
Mm-hmm.
But they had that kind of look, that out look. As you know, then the next 24 hours, you will see the body laying outside the house.
Was there anybody that was well enough to want to produce any music if they brought an
Oh,
instrument?
the odd. They had it. We was like, the ghetto was run by what some Jewish people, you know. Was Lagerältester, means that leader of the, his name was Chaim Rumkowski. He was an old man, and he was like a stooge for the German, you know. He ran the thing. He lived like a king, you know. He lived like a king, and all his, you know, bodies, you know, the heads of the all of them departments. They would have music, they have concert, they have movies probably, and they live like kings in the villas, you know. So was some such segment of what some people, very few, the elite, that live like kings, but the rest of we didn't think about concert or stuff like that, you know.
What was he doing to get all these favors?
He kept us in line.
How?
Oh, he was from the police. He was he was the one spreading rumors that any day is going to be better. Before the war, he was the head of the children's home, the kids that don't have parents.
Orphan?
Orphanage, you know. He was our orphanage leader, you know. And then they picked him to be the leader of the ghetto. He was the one who decided the rations. He was the one who should be selected, you know, to go out. And every couple of weeks, there was a transport of Jews coming to the ghetto from other little cities, from even Germany, you know. But all the people coming in, and the ghetto was getting smaller and smaller and smaller of the natural deaths, starvation. You call it natural starvation, and then there was some selection system that they used to select people over time, to send them pretending to work, but they disappeared. Later on, we found out that the people that they were selected, they put them in buses like, and they would cramp them in the bus, and some way they would put gas in it, and before they came to the place that they were supposed to get, they would just drop their dead bodies out, and they just burn them. It was outside lodge. The name of the place was Home now. After the war, they would say them.
The name of the place?
Yeah.
That they brought him to?
Yeah.
How did you find that out?
After the war.
Oh, after the war.
We didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know that.
The security people within the ghetto, did they use force on the other people? Were any of them ever brutal with the other Jewish,
police?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They were Jews themselves, but they
Jewish
used,
police, yeah.
they would beat people or?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Beat people with some wooden stick, and they would help the selection, you know. They would when was any kind of selection, they would came to your house, waking you up, and was making sure that everybody gets out of the rooms, and they checked if everybody's left behind. They were the stooges for the German, but somebody had to do it. It wouldn't be Moshe would be behind, you know. Somebody would always, you know. It's easy putting fingers on them now, but they would wanted to survive. I did not hold grudges against them because of.
But did the people have the feeling that they had to play up to these people so that they wouldn't be part of the selection process? Were they?
There was some selection process. Was the German did the actual selection, but they was played up to them people because some Jewish police was the one at the check behind if any was left behind. If you on the good side with them, if you look sick or old, they would let you hide, you know, left behind, and they would pretend that there was they never saw you hiding there, you know. So that was that. But they didn't do the actual selection. The actual selection was made by the German people, by the Germans.
Is there anything else you want to add about your experiences in the ghetto before we go on to the next place that you went to?
Nothing.
Okay, then
That was the worst part of the. It was the nice part that we are together, you know, the families. That was the nice part about the ghetto. But I'm looking back, it was the worst part of the war, and it was a majority of my war years was spent in the ghetto. The ghetto was very depressing, very bleak. You just get up in the morning and you. I don't know how we didn't commit suicide, all of us, you know. Looking back, you know, because there's nothing to look forward, you know. Another day in hell, you know. And the field was unbelievable. You just couldn't get away from them. All the lies and all them bed bugs. It was awful.
where did you go next when you left the ghetto?
Next, when we were in the ghetto, we start hearing, you know, explosion close by, like shooting bombs, you know. So we thought, are we going to get, what's the name, liberated there? But then all of a sudden, the German put up signs that we all going to get transferred to another place in Germany, and they would pretended that we are we going to get resettled, but are we going to get resettled not with families, but by what's the name, working places like factories. Like they put on a sign today, factory number 1. Everybody who works in factory number 1 has to show up in the place, railroad station, and they were going to send us towards Germany, pretending we're going to work. But the people did not buy that, and nobody actually show up. Very few people. So they changed their mind and they start saying you can go by families, you know. So at the second.
How did they know at that point not to buy it? Who was reporting back to them that this is not what was happening?
I don't know, was something, and that very few people showed up, and they didn't want. In the German, the least thing that they want to do, use force and cause panic, you know. So rather than that, they we decided you could go by families, by streets. So the next day, all 4 of us, we start walking to the railroad station.
Taking what with you?
Or whatever, a suitcase only. Or you could carry a bed or stuff like that. That's all you could carry. And my father was in bad shape. He could hardly walk. He was spitting blood.
How close was the railroad station?
Not too far. I carried him most of the way. And then we got to the railroad station, and they gave every one of us about 2 pounds of bread, a loaf of bread. Oh my goodness, one. So that I had a lot of every one of it, and they put us on trains, you know, like cattle trains, but close, you know. And in the middle of the train, in the middle of the compartment, was like a big bucket. We could urinate and whatever or whatever it is. And they what them said, it's only take us 1 day. And it was very hot in summer 1944. And August was very hot. We are on the train for 5-6 days. The bucket was overflowing, flowing all over. You know, the people were dying. A lot of people died.
Any food or water? Well, you had the
Okay.
bread. Was there any water?
No, no.
For 5 or 6 days,
No.
you had no water at all?
Oh, no water. And they never, we bang on the door towards and tried to get and that people throw them out. They wouldn't let us. It was 5-6 days, and I don't know, a miracle. My father survived. He was throwing up blood, and then all of a sudden we watched I came heard some kind of noise. Then all of a sudden, we heard like the doors from the train open. And all of a sudden the train opened wide, and we looked, was a lot of German soldiers with the German shepherds, dogs, and a lot of like prisoners with striped uniform, look like pajamas. We never saw it. And screaming, "Raus, raus, raus," means out. We ought to jump off the train. That was Birkenau. That's the first time we ever knew about Auschwitz-Birkenau. And they give us, and they tell us, leave everything behind. Or you can take any suitcase with you, nothing. You just have to jump out. And then we always stayed next to the train, and they order us men on one side, women on the other side. And then my mother and my sister, women, start walking up the ramp, and on the ramp was standing a German officer, all shine up, and I don't know that, and that was the Mengele. He was the one who was doing the selection. The guy was standing there with his finger. He was putting to left or right. If you want to right, man, that you want to the camp. If you want to left, and when I was watching when my sister and my mother got to it, he separated them. My sister went to right, my mother went to the. I didn't know then what that meant, but and then was a lot of women coming with the kids on the arm, and he mentioned to the women go to the right, but the kids to the left, and the woman would not let go of the kids, so they didn't make much fuss. You don't want to let go of the kids, go ahead, go to the left, I don't know what it meant, and my father could hardly walk, He was sick, and he must have got scared seeing all that. I was trying to prop him up, to look better, but when we got there, he didn't have no choice. Later on, a couple of days later, I realized it was much better actually that he did not make. I didn't know the big what that meant, and then we all were told. The people who went to the right, we all were told to take everything off, our clothes, and we only could take the belt and a pair of shoes with us. And we went and we got all shaved. All our hair got shaved completely, And then we went and got showered, got the strip uniforms, and they took us to the barracks. The first thing, I didn't know what it was, and I was standing in the barracks, and all of a sudden see like a fire, what do you call it? Not fire, but the chimney was, from chimney thing. And one of the old prisoners points to me and said, "See, this is where your mother and father go now." I couldn't understand what the man meant, you know. I said, what are you talking about? My mother and father went over there. I said, no, there was some guests and they got burned. And they told me, because they are old prisoners, they knew what was going on. And they told me that the fire from the crematorium and all of them things, what happened.
Did you believe it?
Oh yeah. In the beginning, no. But then a couple other told me. In the beginning, I just thought he was trying to scare me. But then a couple other told me about what was going on there. And then I realized who I am. And then I was...
Were you able to grieve at that time for your
yeah.
parents?
I cried something awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But... And then I was then a couple days, and one time they picked us to go do some kind of work in the camp. And we are walking this way. And then a group of women walking in the opposite direction. And they all look alike, all of them having the uniform, all of them shaved off hair, you know, all of them women too. And then all of a sudden somebody screaming, my name Pavel. And then I look up and I saw my sister. And she hollered to me, where's Daddy? I said, don't worry, he is with me. I lied to her. And then the first thing after the war, she asked me.
Did she know about her mother at this point?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because the women prisoner told her right away.
Did she tell you?
No, she did what?
When she asked about her father, did she tell you what happened to her mother?
She went first. So I was watching. She didn't know what happened to the father because she was already taken away. No. Oh, we never talk about his mother. No, that was the first thing.
Are there other recollections you have of that time? Can you describe Mengele from...
No.
You don't remember what he looked like or anything?
He looked like a shiny, spirit guy, but he was average age, you know. And you never want to look at too much.
How old was he, would you say?
He must have been in his 40s. You never want to look at him too much. Because you never know what...
Was he standing there? Did he have guns? Did he have whips or...
Whips. He had a whip in his hand. But he was all surrounded by his helpers, you know. You know, them SS guards with the most scary thing was when they opened the door and see all of them dogs, crazy dogs jumping, you know.
Were the dogs attacking?
No, they kept them on the leash, but they were trying you know, jumping. But they never, I don't remember attacking anybody there on the ramp in Birkenau. No.
Describe the work that you did while you were there.
Well, I was in Auschwitz for 4 or 5 weeks, but I did great. All of a sudden, Auschwitz in Birkenau. No, I don't mean I was in Birkenau. Auschwitz in Birkenau was close by, connected. It was an outfit called Canada, what they call them. They were the people, prisoners, that after transport came in. And the prisoners were told not to take anything with them. You know, all of them suitcases, everything. They were the people that came in after the transport left already, and they empty all of that baggage, and they had to sort the baggage and put it in the warehouse. So they came at that Auschwitz, that was an outfit. Canada was located in Auschwitz all the time. But I don't know for no what kind of reason they was located in Birkenau for 4 or 5 weeks. They had a couple people missing, and I got selected to work with them. So I was going every day to the little place where they transport. So we took the suitcase and everything together. And we had to put everything in separate places, like. And the German
You emptied the suitcases?
We have to empty the suitcase and put shoes separate and that separate, and you could find everything, diamonds then, shoes and everything. And there was the nice thing about it was that there was at the minute the thing went in the books, the German could not touch it, you know. So the German guards became friendly with us, and they would give us order. If you see a nice belt, or you see a nice watch, hide it from me.
Was there any chance of hiding anything for yourselves, or was there no place?
What will I do with it? I wanted to get a salami. I want to get a bread. That's the only thing. I don't want anything from them. A lot of them try hiding diamonds, you know. I never thought of it. I just want to get some food and help my friends, you know.
Were you able to get any food?
Oh yeah, from the German soldiers.
Oh, but not from the suitcases. You didn't find food that was being hidden.
No, because the food was rotten already. Because everybody was, traveling 6-7 days, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we wasn't just traded with them German soldiers. They were just willing. They just wanted us to steal something for them because we couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So they just gave us order what to look for. I would tell you one man after the war. I hope the man wasn't make. He took a diamond. If he cut himself, if he put it here in his calf. And he was always sitting playing with it. That's the only one that.
Did he get away with
He
it?
got away with it. That's the only one.
How did he stop it from bleeding?
I have no idea. I don't have no idea how he did it, but he did it.
Stop. That's quite a place to stop. You're still talking about Auschwitz at this point. Let's talk about the other inmates. What kind of relationship was there within the camps itself?
Well, usually if you went to the camp, the best thing was the two guys got together and they would just like I did with another guy. We would made a pact, you know. If you have better, you help me. If I have better, I
If
help
you have what? What?
If you better job, or you get some more food, or we help each other, or we make ourselves promise. So when I got that job, you know, that I had more food, I was helping all them guys that I knew, because I could get some bread and salami and other stuff and soups, you know, and that was the best time that I had during the war. The 5 weeks that I wasn't hungry, I was treated like a king.
If you would come back with that food,
Yeah.
wouldn't everybody want to share in that food, or was it hidden somewhere where you just gave it to the friends? Or
Everybody wanted, but I just couldn't feed everybody.
but would they go along with that? The other people, they were
What
starved.
else could they do? They would say, they were not in the fighting, but they are all weak.
What were the guards like?
The guards that I had to do with there, they're all nice because they would need to deal with us. So they are all going out of the way, you know. to be nice. What do you want? What do you want? German salami. What do you want? Bread. What do you want? That. And they told you, if you see a watch, get me a watch. If you see that, get me a... Because Germans are very... I don't know how to describe it. At the minute went to the warehouse and went in the books, they would not touch it because it was stealing already. But that way, and before it gets official, you could do anything you want to. But that was the kind of dealing we did with them.
Was there no one to search you when you left the area where you were?
They were the one who was supposed to search us. They were the one. They were the one who was supposed to keep an eye on us. But if they want something, if they would have searched us, they would catch us. They would have to put it in the warehouse, in the books. So it wouldn't do them any good. Because there was another one seeing what you're doing. They all knew what the next guy is doing trading with us. But they were keeping hiding, you know.
Were you punished at any time while you were there?
I was punished only one time. I was first couple of days in Birkenau, and I was supposed to be on watch to see when the next transport come in, and wake up the German Führer, you know. And I was watching, and all of a sudden, I must have fell asleep because I opened my eyes and the transport was in the middle of the camp. And I knew it would be bad. The next morning, they just punished me. You have to bend down and get your hands like that. If you put your head in between the other guy's legs and your behind sticking out, two guys with whips whip you behind. I don't remember how much it was, but it was enough that I could not sit for a while. That was the time in Auschwitz.
You were bleeding?
Yeah.
Were there scars? Were you hollering out?
I think so.
I think so too.
That was the time in Birkenau. And then I was in Birkenau for a while, and then transport stopped coming in. And then the outfit that I was working with, they moved them back to Auschwitz. So I was left behind Birkenau. And less people were in Birkenau. And I started worrying about myself because it was only older and younger and young people, sick people. And all of a sudden they announced on a loudspeaker that they're looking for 200 tailors. I wasn't a tailor actually, but I just figured it'd be 199 tailors so I could squeeze in. Tailor is a good job because you always wanted to get a job being inside, because outside is a bad job, cold and wet. So I went into the barracks, and they registered me, and they put a tattoo on my hand. The 200 people, everybody got a tattoo.
What is the tattoo? What are the numbers on it?
The two is B 10,295. Every one of the 200. And then at the next morning, they put us on trucks.
Was that just your number, or was that the number for all the people?
My number.
I see.
295, 296, 297, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was 200 of us. And then the next day, they put us on big army trucks, and they start driving us. And we made about 200 yards. Was a big chimney. And all of a sudden a guy is screaming, "Oh my God, they're taking us to crematoriums to get us." And everybody became panicky. but was not the case. Oh, we drove about 5 miles south, and they drove us to a little place, coal mine. They asked for tailors to went up in the coal mine. So that was the place that there was 200 of us, and then we worked in a coal mine. And then, a couple weeks later, they brought by 100 Italian Jews. I never saw it. That was the first time I saw Italian Jews. And that was in November, December 44, was very cold winter. In Poland was a very hard work, and they came in. They were all singing and happy-go-lucky. They lasted 3 weeks. They died. All of them died. So
What did you have to do in the coal mine?
they called.
And where did you put it, and how did they get it out of there?
Well, we was I had the worst kind of job. I was working in a coal mine that was tunneled that high. Had to be on my knee, or we had to put dynamite, shoot, and then shovel the coal in a little wagon and the dynamite. When we came in the morning, they would tell you, you have to go 8 meters wide and 4 meters deep. They did not care how long. Well, you had to get it done. If you say 24 hours, it's okay with them. You don't go to the camp. So you try to do it as fast as you can, because I wanted to go home to get some sleep. And we will stay there till January 1945. And I'll go back to one part. When I was in Auschwitz, I saw once in Birkenau, came in a transport, German Jews. The only thing different between the Eastern European Jews and the German Jews was that we came in cattle trains, and we looked like they were some brother men in regular trains, sitting down, and they had a lot of baggage with them, and they all wore the medals from the First War, and when we unloading and tried to tell them what's going on, they said, "Ich bin eine Jude." I'm not Jew. I'm German. They were so proud being Germans. They were going to the gas chamber, and they were still denying being Jews. The German Jews. What's amazing about them, how they to the last minute scream, "Ich bin ein German," "Ich bin ein Deutscher." I could never forget that part. That they always thought of themselves as being a superior of the Eastern European Jews. That was the only thing.
Describe the barracks.
Oh, the
that
barracks.
you stayed in.
Oh, my goodness. The barracks. I was in a picture of that. Was wooden barracks. Was a long hall. We have wooden barracks, and we slept 3-4 guys in one.
How many would be to a barrack?
I don't know, a couple hundred, few hundred. And it was very crowded, wood, nothing else, You had like a little blanket. But mostly our dress was like a pajamas, striped pajamas, And sometimes...
What about on your feet?
Mostly we have wooden shoes.
Were they very uncomfortable?
Oh, awful. Heavy.
Rub sores on your
Sores
feet?
on your feet. First, when I came into Birkenau, I have a nice pair of shoes, but all the prisoners took it away from me, So we had to wooden shoes. If you didn't have shoes, you had to wear wooden shoes. And they were so heavy to work. It gave you blisters in the back, and that was awful. The wooden shoes were the worst thing.
What about the sanitary conditions under which you lived?
Sunny condition was much better than ghetto. Let me say one thing. We had showers once a week. We had disinfected. They was putting that powder all of us, you know. But the thing was that we took out the shower. We could wait outside necking for 4 or 5 hours, you know. That wasn't too much sweat. And once in a they were counting us every morning and every afternoon. We have to get out of the barracks, and the Lagerführer was walking around and counting everybody. They was on a list how many had. And sometimes they made a mistake. Was one less, so they could keep us sometimes 12, 14 hours standing still. Till they go over the barracks and dig and look if anybody is hiding, you know.
What if they didn't find somebody? What would happen?
We watched them stay sometimes 20 hours. But they finally realized there was something missing.
Were people keeling over?
Oh, yeah.
And then what would happen to those people?
They watched them, they took them away. Oh, we never saw them again. And was like a, what's the name? If you want to get rid of your life, if you got tired, was like a, what they call it, a sick house. If you want to go to a doctor. If you want to commit suicide, you go there.
Did they treat the people or
Nah,
experiment on them?
experiment. I was broke my finger, this finger, at the coal mine. So rather than to go there, I was put a piece of rag, and then the finger healed the wrong way. I can bend it, you know. I never fixed it. I was sure that done it right after the war, but this is the reminder. When I hold something, I can bend the finger. And every morning, you saw also in front of the barracks a stack of bodies with a number written on the chest, you know. So sometimes they would miscalculate the dead bodies, and they would thought some, but nobody escaped. All the time, in Auschwitz history was only 2 guys escaped from Auschwitz.
And how did they do it?
They did it. I heard after the war, they would dig a hole in the ground, and when they were walking, and they were covered with something. Somebody must have helped them, because they were hiding there for 48 hours, and the Germans were just going crazy. Could not find them. They were 2 Slovak Jews. And Auschwitz is close to Czechoslovakia, you know. And anyhow, them 2 guys walked their way back to home, and they told and they went to Hungary. Hungary was still, Jews were still untouched there, and they told what was going on there. And they did not want to believe him. They just want to tell the world what was going on in Auschwitz, but nobody believed them. After the war, I was reading about that. It was amazing that nobody wanted to believe it, that something like that was going on.
What did you have to eat?
In Auschwitz, in Birkenau, we got, in the morning we got coffee, it was like water. And in the evening we got soup and a piece of bread. A lot of them ate the soup and tried to save the piece of bread for the next morning. I never did it. I finished everything off because I didn't want to worry about anybody stealing it. Usually screaming during the night and fighting because somebody tried to steal your bread, you know. Mm-hmm. I never had that kind of problem. I got it, I ate it. After the war, it took me years to be able to eat before afternoon.
To be able to eat in the afternoon, did you say?
To eat before afternoon.
to eat anything before noontime?
in noontime, because I was always eating late, one time a day, you know. And I still have a very bad habit today. Everybody corrects me. I eat very fast. Must have been a leftover of the being hungry. That when we go out, friends, I sit down. Before anybody has time to put their fork in the food, my plate is finished almost. I try very hard to work on it, but I just can't get rid of it. To being eating like that. It's a habit that I don't have.
What were the sanitary conditions like in bathroom facilities, if there were such things?
No, it was like a big wooden thing, and you just sit on it. Oh, everybody I had to go to the same place. And was showers once in a while. They allow you showers, but the condition was better than was in the ghetto. The ghetto was unbearable. The ghetto was filthy. That was a little bit better than the ghetto, but was still bad condition.
When you were riding in that bus and you saw the chimneys with the smoke, did you see people going into nothing?
No, was not. Somebody thought was was just a panic, you know. I was not there because they didn't have crematorium outside Auschwitz. Was inside Auschwitz. We are outside. So the person just thought that they was taking us to crematorium. So the panic started. But I was just some kind of factory, you know, with a big chimney, you know. We were just scared stiff because of the thing that was going in Auschwitz.
Did you ever encounter any homosexuals or gypsies while you were in the camps?
Well, in the camps, I heard stories. You could tell everybody had a little sign here on the left side. Was yellow, was Jewish, you know. And then was red, was, I think, political prisoners. Some kind of other sign was homosexual. And every kind of guy, you know. I had a little friend that had a homosexual thing going with a big shot German, you know. He was a prisoner too, but he was like a foreman. But they call in the camp they call him a capo. Capo, and lay down. I knew that was something going on between them two. He kept them alive that way, giving him food. But I myself never.
Was he wearing something to designate that he was homosexual, or?
No, I think that guy was a lifer. Let me point out, German government took a lot of lifers that they have in prison, you know, that have life sentence for committing some kind of crimes, and they brought them to the camps, and they made them over us. They made them like leader of us, like.
They were Jewish people?
No, Germans. They were like block leader, you know, was a big block, was 300 or 400 people. He was the leader of the whole block. Then they have a foreman who was like a couple. They call it a couple. He was overlooking, he was watching the way we work. He make us work first. They were actually worse than the German soldiers, you know. Also, mostly of them were German prisoners, you know, lifers. And one of them, the last one, was a German gypsy. He was the worst kind of guy that I ever met in my life. I'm going to tell a story about him later.
You can tell the story now.
That was that thing happened. Oh, let me go back. So that was in what's in Auschwitz, and then we are working in the coal mine, and then all of a sudden one morning they said, everybody come out and we have to go someplace. And we heard guns and everything else, and then when we start walking on the road, we would see from other companies getting us, and we got close to Auschwitz, and we see all from Auschwitz, everybody walking. And we walked for 4 or 5 days in the biggest snow. That's what they call lay down on dead march. At the Russian army got close to Auschwitz. So they decided to liquidate Auschwitz. Whoever was in Auschwitz or close to Auschwitz, like I was, and they all walked us for 4 or 5 days. And we came to I don't remember the name of the place. We came to a station, and it was the same thing like the cattle trains. But this time was in January, snowing like crazy, cold. They put us in an open train, halfway in an open train. And then they do the same thing, around 140 guys. They gave us one man a loaf of bread, and we start traveling. And after a while, people died, frozen, and they wouldn't let us do anything with it. Took us 4 or 5 days till we arrived. We arrived in Mauthausen, but in the meantime, we cover ourselves up with the dead bodies or use them as a pillow. We arrived to Mauthausen.
Let's just finish up because we didn't quite finish with Auschwitz. Were there children in the camp that were younger than you?
Yeah.
How were they treated?
Not bad. The German use them as cleaning the rooms and stuff like that. The SS barracks, They didn't treat them too bad.
How young was the youngest ones?
The youngest one must have been, I don't know how they got through through a selection. It was a miracle. It was a miracle how they got. The youngest one was probably 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. How they got through the selection, I don't know. Because the main thing selection was to separate the people that they called dead wood that could not work. So I don't know how they saw few of them, but not too many, the younger. I was probably one of the younger ones.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't see too many young people.
Is there anything else that you want to say about Auschwitz before we go on to the next stop that you made?
Nothing.
Did you think you were going to survive?
Yeah, I always knew. I always had that feeling. The funny thing, when you saw the people coming through the gate in Auschwitz, Birkenau, you could see in the faces. Some of them going to make it, some of them not.
What differentiated the one from the other?
You could see the drain, the fear, the fright in the eyes, You could see right away they just give up, They just saw all them soldiers, all them, dogs, and all that screaming. It was scary, and you could see who's going to, you could just bet money who's going to make it.
But didn't you have fear, and yet you made it?
I had fear, but I also had the feeling that I'm going to make it. I never doubted. I never for a minute. And I also had the feeling that my sister's going to survive. I don't know why. I always had that feeling that I'm going to make it.
Did you see your sister anymore?
No.
That was the only time?
The only time I saw her. Because she was there 2 days only. And she was sent to Bergen-Belsen, to another camp. And
did you know that?
No, I didn't know it.
You didn't know it? You thought she was still there?
I didn't know what happened to her. But I understood, the old prisoners told me that in Birkenau, you usually stay only was like a transit lager, you know. I was the one who stayed the longest because I was working. But a majority of people stayed there only 2-3 days till they got towards till they got selected for another job. So she was spending the average time 3 days there, and she was just sent to Bergen-Belsen. So this is the last I saw of my sister till left at the war.
What did you dream about if you would ever live through this, as to what you wanted to do or what would happen after?
The first dream I had towards have be something that I could eat and eat and eat and eat and feel my stomach full. I did not think of anything else but that. If it was anything, my dream was that. To have a full stomach, not to go hungry. I was the only thing I was thinking.
Did that ever happen to you after the war, that you fulfilled that dream and really sat down and just ate to your heart's content and thought, now I can do it?
Oh yeah, I did it. But I thought I could eat about what's in, but I just couldn't eat that much as I thought. When you're hungry, you think you could eat forever.
What was your health like at this time?
I didn't have any problem in what's in camps. I was never sick. Never. My health was good, I guess, because I never. You see, I always thought. My parents were always worried about me. They always thought I was when they were talking about anything happen, we would get separated. They're always talking about me, but I was always healthy, and my sister was always sick. I found out later, and she was always sick. She was almost dying.